You operate an ISP in rural Kano State, Nigeria. Yeah. What are the biggest daily challenges you face being so far away from fiber landing stations?
The biggest challenges that we face on daily basis are fiber cuts between the fiber landing stations and the upcountry. Mm-hmm. Those are one of our critical and most frequent challenges that we face on daily basis. However, this forces us to have different routes of fiber for the IP transit. Mm-hmm. Some of them they come through the east, some of them they come through the west, and you have to be selective on your upstream providers. That's why we combine almost four upstreams on our network in Kano State.
Okay, thank you. You describe a modern ISP as a system of systems. Why is it so critical to build security and power redundancy directly into the network topology from the very beginning?
This is an interesting question, and it's long somehow to discuss it. First of all, power is a challenge in where we are operating. I don't know about other African countries, like from my experience in Sierra Leone, in Liberia, even in Guinea-Bissau, I think they have frequent power outages. So you should rely on power redundancy from day one. Okay. And with the evolution of solar systems, it makes it more easier and more controllable as well. And it's something that you can monitor rather than relying on conventional diesel generators or something else, and it reduces your cost. Yes, the first investment is going to be huge, but it gives you peace of mind on the long run. That's in terms of power. Then you have the security. As I explained, it's two types of security. Mm-hmm. You have the physical security of your infrastructure, and you have the security that relates to your network as a network. Mm-hmm. That is the DDoS protection and any kind of penetration tests that somebody might do to your network to later attack you or attack your clients and subscribers and possibly get the data from your database. And then you have the physical security due to vandalization, due to some certain social unrest that can be experienced at any point of time due to any political reasons.
Okay, thank you. Many people focus on the last mile of connectivity, but you mentioned the middle mile is often the hardest bottleneck. Why is that?
That's because of the location of your operation. All right?
Yeah.
As this is related to the first question that you asked, being very far from the landing stations, you have to be selective on the routes of your fiber. That's the middle mile between Lagos and Kano State. And I believe it's any country that spreads wide, that should be the scenario, because you might have one seashore, or it might be an internally locked land, like Republic of Niger, for instance. Mm-hmm. They don't have fiber landing stations. Everything is coming, I believe, from Nigeria. Yeah. And from Nigeria, it means that it's going from Lagos to Ibadan to Jos and continuing all the way maybe to Sokoto or to Maiduguri before it will come into Republic of Niger. Mm-hmm. Okay, that middle mile is very essential, because when it's down, your network is down. Okay. For no fault of yours. However, the last mile is also important, and the deployment cost is also important, because it might increase the cost of operation to an extent that if a certain ISP is looking at return on investment on the short run, the product will become unaffordable by the end user, whether it's a residential home, whether it's a small or medium enterprise, or it's a big company, or even a university, for instance. So the ISPs have to be moderate on their planning and on the focus for the next 5 years. Such investments should not be like on a short term, they should be for the long term. Mm-hmm. That's what we are doing, basically.
Okay, thank you. How does using a hybrid approach of both fiber and radio access help you maintain a sustainable and resilient network for your customers?
A great deal, honestly speaking, because on radios I cannot push speeds up to 750 or 800 Mbps per second for a residential client. Yeah. On fiber, I've been able to achieve that. All my residential clients, they enjoy services up to 1.2 gig or 1.3 gig. Okay, it depends on their package of subscription at the end of the day. We are not using a high contention ratio. Meanwhile, on the radio, you are bound by the spectrum and the frequencies and the congestion of the spectrum and the weather conditions as well. Such conditions, they doesn't exist for the fiber.
Okay, sir. On our last question, you recently deployed IPv6 on your network. What advice do you have for other African ISPs who are struggling to make that transition on peer effectively?
They shouldn't struggle. My major struggle was with my upstream. My upstream didn't provide peering on IPv6. If their upstream is providing peering on IPv6, it's as easy as three clicks. Okay,
Yes.
You create the subnet, you create the peer, you create the subnet, I have mentioned it, and then you just deploy it as a DHCP on your network.
Okay.
And that's it. It's very easy. You just have to enable IPv6 and deploy it. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much.